So it's as it's populating, that looks good. And I'm just getting our Instagram friends populated as well. Perfect. Okay. So, guys, thank you for being here with us today. We are talking with Suzanne Gerber, and I'm so excited to reintroduce her to our community. Looks like we've got folks already with us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. That's awesome. Suzanne and I are backwards. We're normally the other way, so we're a little disoriented with the mirror of it all. But I just wanted to have Suzanne on and reintroduce her to the community because one of the best astrology resources all year that I look forward to every year is something that Suzanne hosts. And it is such a great asset for me personally. You know, I love all of the speakers and topics. But it's great for all levels of enthusiasts. So I know that you're here because you have some kind of interest in astrology, you're astro curious, maybe you're just beginning, maybe you're an expert. But Suzanne's summit every year is just absolutely one of my favorite things, something I deeply look forward to. So I asked her if she would come on and just kind of reintroduce herself to our community. So Suzanne, thank you for hanging out with me. I know you're very busy leading up to the summit. I know your time is precious, and thank you for coming on the show or on the channel with us.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm never too busy for you, Tiffany.
Oh, so sweet. Well, Suzanne, you know, one of the things when I interviewed her, she taught a class on Venus through the signs. It was called Love and the Law of Attraction. And I'm going to put that in a link for you guys because it was so powerful. She took us through all of the intonations of Venus and your own love life. And, you know, to me, that was such a fun class to do together. But one of the many, I think, one of my favorite things about Suzanne, I'll just say, is that when we were teaching that class, I learned that she wanted to be an astrologer. She wanted to move to New York and be an astrologer. And that was like what she knew from the get-go. So will you speak a little bit about that, about how your love for astrology was kicked off earlier?
Yeah, I didn't actually have that specific plan to move to New York and study astrology and then be an astrologer, like in the cradle. Let's be honest.
Right.
But I did love the stars then. And the night sky was absolutely fascinating to me. I didn't really get to see much of it as a little kid. And I remember the first time I saw it, I was just blown away. Like, look at all those stars. And I became very fascinated with the planets in that inexplicable way that so many people who do wind up developing any kind of personal interest or professional work with astrology. This is quite often a remembering. So many people feel that way. Why would I be so obsessed with the planets? I drew them for my third grade science project for some science fair or something. And I fell in love with sun signs, like so many of us do when we're young. And I can't say it was specifically Linda Goodman's book, but a lot of people say that. And then I went to college and got into some metaphysical stuff. Lived in Europe after college. That's when I developed that very specific plan because my then boyfriend was going to be going to New York for graduate school. And I said, perfect. I'm going to find my teacher and I'm going to study astrology. And it actually happened as soon as we got our own apartment and I got the local alternate weekly newspaper that people old enough or New York-y enough know, called the Village Voice. And I did what you do. You don't start at the front, you flip it over to the back. That page was it was like all the really cool classifieds, you know, like the missed connections before the internet, mind you. Chat groups, something like that. You would go to the Village Voice back page and it was, I saw you on the 4 train and whatever. And the very first thing said, astrology class is now forming. Did I do my Virgo moon research? Did I check her out? Did I look for, I said, nope, now my teacher. And that changed my whole life because I studied with her for 3 years and I learned so much more than astrology from this amazing triple earth woman who was like my spiritual mother. Our moons were on each other's ascendants, just fabulous relationship. And I'd love to say that I, out of the gate, became a practicing astrologer. I did, but it wasn't my primary job. We didn't have an internet. How do you find clients? How do you support a child? It wasn't the same pathway that we have today. But this was in the, early to mid 80s. And I never stopped doing it, never stopped pursuing it. And then, of course, the internet changed everything and a whole bunch of things came together. But it really does begin with when you have a dream, when you have a vision, you can't get too practical about it, a little practical, but it can't, you have to allow for the magic to come in and for those serendipities and those opportunities to come in and carry you to it.
Yeah, so well said. So, another thing I love about your practice, Suzanne, is that you have the technical side, you have the practical side, you have the technique, but then you bring in this channeling intuitive element. And that's, to me, that's how, that's why I love astrology too. It's like there's science, it's real, it's predictable, you can forecast, but there's also this intuitive, emotional, sensitive, psychic side that you bring in. And I was reading your bio again yesterday, and I just loved how many other things that you have studied and incorporated, and these other sides of yourself and trainings that you've given yourself and invested in yourself over the years. To me, is what makes Soul Centered Astrology. It's all these other pieces that you're bringing in. So would you just share a little bit about some of your other trainings in shamanism and Reiki and all those?
Yeah, I don't know too many astrologers that only do astrology.
Yeah.
They work with other kinds of divination. They've got other gifts. They've got other talents. They certainly have other interests. And I always had other interests. I mean, philosophy, metaphysics, spirituality just gripped me from a very early age. I wanted to know God. I wanted to know what truth was. I remember at a very early age just really having a visceral experience of nothingness, of what I thought at that time. I've since had very different and cheerier, you'd have to say, relationships of to not be in physical form.
Yeah.
But I mean, I died in dreams, and I remembered my dreams since I was about 3 years old. And these things, I have Neptune on my sun. I don't really have a choice. But the things that I started to pursue formally, walking the medicine wheel in the 1990s with my other wonderful teacher, my other spiritual mother, for the first time, and then in a program, and then becoming Reiki certified and doing work with Buddhism and meditation and other practices, quantum physics, and all the things that I've really pursued. It was there was always this kind of dual motivation. Part of it was to understand and to know myself and to have those experiences. But I always felt like to be an astrologer and only talk about this is here, these are these possibilities. But if you can't support the person in front of you, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're telling stories. And that's when it really hit me, like I don't even remember. You get to be a certain age and you don't even know. Was that the 90s? Was that the aughts? When I did my Reiki training, and then I would really practice it. And then after several years, I felt like I needed a tune-up. And I asked a Reiki master friend of mine, can you do that with me? Can you, top up, reactivate the symbols, and to help me get it strong and get it back in my body? The shamanic work, you work with this stuff. And in the beginning, I think we can feel a little, what am I doing? Am I doing it right? Am I making this up? Right? And then it starts to come together. And it doesn't happen on a day. Like when people go, when did you go from breaking a chart down into the individual pieces to integrating it? I don't know. I love what the great Stephen Forrest says when people ask him, when does this happen? What is that stage? And he says, when does a kitten become a cat?
Yeah.
right? It's a developmental process. We're all evolving on so many levels. We're evolving as individuals, we're evolving in our work, we're evolving in so many things. And I think how we start to, and if we're talking specifically about astrology or healing work or supporting people, it just eventually, you realize you're doing it, right? We don't see things as they're happening. Those of us that have kids or have had a front row seat to kids that are close to us, we don't really know when they became a toddler, and then when they became, like a young adult, and in my case, a very adult adult. When does that happen? There's not a day, but it's something that when you keep doing it, I think, and you keep asking for feedback, and you stay really humble, right? I think it's like what they say: nobody knows more than a college sophomore. Right? Thinks they know more than a college sophomore. And I think people that are new to astrology can feel like they have all the answers. And I did. I was like, oh, well, you have this, and therefore it must be that. And now I've come really full circle, but probably like 4 times. And I ask people, especially because now people that I do work with, I don't do readings. We have conversations, right? I'll ask them, well, how do you experience that? I don't know what that feels like. I know what the books would tell me. I know what the models of it are, right? I know what 40 years of doing charts suggests, but I have no idea how they experience that. So we have a conversation. And what am I really doing? I'm asking them what they want to get out of it. And I'm finding ways. And sometimes the ways are talking about astrology, and sometimes they're more cognitive behavioral therapy. Sometimes it comes from Buddhism or quantum physics, mechanics, biology, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what I draw on. And I feel like we can never know enough to really be supportive and helpful for other people. So that's the quest. I think you know my chart, right, Tiffany? It's like a joke. It's like it's all in the 6th house, except for my moon, which is Virgo. It's got to be. It's got to be about my role in being of service. And it's not like I'm a martyr. I'm not like my whole life is taking care of other people. I've got a great self-care practice too. But if it doesn't help other people, it just feels like empty calories.
Yeah. Oh, that is such a great way to put it. I'm going to use that when I'm teaching 6th house. That is such a great way to put it. And I'm also over here stuck on the kitten becoming the cat, because now I'm like, does the kitten ever become the cat? Because my cats are all like still kitten, all that inner child stuff. Let me pause and say hello to everybody that's joined us. I see Marilyn and Sharon and Rosie, my students and members. Thank you for being here over on YouTube. And then on Instagram, we've got Yellow Botanicals, which I'm excited to partner with you on some things. Wimberly 51, it looks like Blue Thunder, Bird Woman, Vicky Lynn, Astro Woke, Steph Koffler, all of you guys. Alice, hi. I'm so glad.
What cool handles. It sounds like a really great group of people out there.
Yes, yeah. I see Trisha Kester. Good to see you. And so I get, if you're just joining, right, this is Suzanne Gerber, and the reason that I wanted her to come talk about this, like soul centered astrology, is because that is the theme of her summit this year, and it's my favorite thing to do in astrology all year long, because she releases a new teaching, a new lesson, a new workshop from 21 different astrologers over the course of June. This year, she's starting at June 10th, and it will end on June 29th. The link I have posted up for you guys, it's through her website, Stars and Stones Healing, and you can register for free. It's free. This is a huge labor of love. And I'm just so grateful, Suzanne, that you have continued to do it year after year. I'm also teaching.
I'm actually trying to get the link. I'm trying to get the link, Tiffany, so that we could put it right here.
I got it. It's up. Do you see it?
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the registration link is up and it's in the
Oh,
chat and it's also pinned up there. So they should be able to access it all. And it looks like we got some people from New York. Rosie's saying that Virgo moons rule. That's awesome. And yeah, so the reason, like,
Virgo moons don't rule. They serve.
they serve.
Sure.
She's excited
Isn't that
about the
better? Isn't that better? Seriously. Oh,
Mhm. Yeah, Virgo moons serve. That's a good lesson. So many good little
yeah.
juicy takeaways from our chat. So the summit this year is Soul Centered Astrology, using the stars to find your sacred purpose. You can sign up, guys, and you can just listen to whatever day you feel like, right? Like you don't have to listen to it, but if you want to upgrade, right? Would you tell them a little bit if they what the upgrade includes and why they might want to do that?
Well, a lot of people like that option, and I keep it really affordable. I
Mhm.
mean, there's a lot of people that work on this summit, and there's a lot of time that is spent not doing readings. So it really is it is my sacred service. So we
Mhm.
do charge for the pass. And there's two tiers. One is just the basic $47, and you get all 20 interviews. They never
Mhm.
expire. You can download them. We do it in a video because a lot of the speakers do present slideshows. But a lot of people around the world, and we get people from over 100 countries on this thing, and a lot of people in other countries don't have access to the same Wi-Fi everywhere they go, and they're working on a data plan. So I've traveled a lot, and I'm very sensitive to how people have to conserve their data. So we also do audio only. Also, the video, because it comes off of YouTube, captions are available in a lot of different languages. So even if English isn't your first or most comfortable language, you can watch it in your own language. And then there's another tier that we're doing this year, and it's $77, and it's all 20 interviews, yours forever. Plus, I did a special interview with Stephen Forrest where we talk about evolutionary astrology. And for people that are like, what is evolutionary astrology? I don't know how to work with the nodes. What the heck is Chiron doing in my chart? These kinds of questions. And he's just so comforting. He's so
Yeah.
wise. And it's a
Yes.
great interview, and it's only available through this. And then another person who's been a presenter on the summit in other years, who's wonderful. Her name is Katie Emma, and she lives in Europe, and she's Australian. She runs a beautiful program called the Temple of Cosmic Astrology. She has donated this Saturn in Pisces workshop that she's created that's fantastic. But perhaps the most exciting bonus of that upgraded pass is your calendar, your Wise
Oh,
Sky digital calendar. Did you forget about that for a second? And they get the whole rest of the year for free, and you're giving them a really generous discount for next year. So all that for $77. But it's also, if you don't want to spend a nickel, sign up. You can check in every day. You'll get an opportunity 3 days to watch people like, and I don't know if these names are familiar to people, but they're wonderful, wonderful astrologers with different areas of expertise. We have Sam Reynolds, who's just such an incredible heart-focused person. And Frank Clifford from the London School of Astrology. He's the principal there. And he's kind of a regular. Henry Seltzer, who is the founder of the software program I love, Time Passages. Henry is obsessed with Kuiper belt objects. He literally wrote the book on Eris, and he's looking at how we can use those planets, Haumea and Makemake, to find different things in our own charts through the mundane astrology of it. And I have Stormy Grace, who's just such a goddess. She's more Venusian than I am, and she's doing a great talk on Venus as our attractor for sacred abundance, which isn't just money. It really is about our soul purpose. And the Astro Twins, my good friends, are talking about a system they've created to streamline astrology. If you don't have time to do all this, but you want to be able to get some benefit out of astrology, they've come up with a great system. And I've left out about a dozen or more people. We're going to look
yeah.
at the lunar nodes. We're going to look at astro palmistry, with the wrong, I'm mirrored, with this wonderful astrologer palmist from Australia called Peter Burns, and John Sandbach, who has become a friend, and not just because his son is on my ascendant, but because this man is a national treasure. He's the one who channeled the Chandra symbols, which a lot of people know. They don't replace the Sabian degree symbols. It's just a newer, more modern, maybe more right brain. It's softer. And he always felt like he was going to download degree symbols, which sounds like I thought I might do something with the planets. I didn't think I would download 360 degree symbols in 4 hours. And he talks a lot about, how it happened and how to work with them and these other sets of symbols. And there's so many more. And I think when they go to this sign up page, if they scroll down below me, they'll see a collage of all the speakers. And you'll find out every day. And like I said, you get 72 hours to watch each. And each of the speakers, almost all the speakers, are offering a free gift. And all you have to do is just click on the link, and there are some great, like yours, a wonderful, wonderful. I mean, it seems like a throwaway, right? Oh, what's the gift? Like you go to
Right.
an event and it's like, who am I going to give this to? These are really valuable things. They're workbooks, they're PDFs, they're videos, there's how to work with things. And you get to keep them. It's not like they expire. You download them, you own them. Nobody has time to do this in the month of June, So they're yours to work with when, or maybe you're like, I have a feeling this will be of interest to me at a later time in my life. We do a lot of stuff with lunar cycles too. We've got the lunar standstill this month. We've got the Venus star point. Well, that's actually today, isn't it? And we have Louise Edenton talking about, she's done training with Ariel Gutman on the Venus star point. It's just such a wealth of information, how to really develop a relationship with the planets, not just opening a book or going online and seeing what so-and-so has to say about them. What's your experience of it? This is, you were talking about using intuition and allowing these things to come through. How do we know? How do we know when we're getting aligned and useful information? We develop a relationship with them, and then we just keep coming back to it. So yeah, obviously I think the summit's a pretty cool thing.
I have total full body chills. I mean, again, the summit, I look forward to it every year. I'm so honored to participate in it with you and with everybody. The classes are going to be fascinating, outstanding. And you guys, it's just around the corner. It's just a week away. So June 10th through 29th. So be sure you sign up ahead of time. And you can upgrade if you want the Stephen Forrest bonus, my calendar, the discount for the 2025 calendar, which I've already started writing. And this year, Suzanne, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but in 2025, I always try to do something else or upgrade or extra. I never just do the same calendar. I never copy and paste.
You don't.
I always want to regenerate something. Well, this year I'm including fixed stars when appropriate, right, for some major conjunctions and things like this. And I'm including the lunar transits as well. So it's going to be a separate calendar that you can add on, because I know not everybody wants to see all of the lunar transits. So you can just toggle on or off. But I wanted to let you know that 2025 is continuing to improve. And, this is such a cool community of people. Like, I don't know. I mean, Suzanne, you kind of like glossed over it. I want to make sure everybody heard this summit reaches people in over 100 countries. That's a lot of people that you're connecting with energetically when you're listening to these classes. And it's so cool what can happen when the whole world, right, at a certain level is focused on these topics. And there's a consciousness that's awakening for that day, for that topic. It's really powerful what can happen when you're tuning in and listening to it. So go for the upgrade if you can afford it. If not, tune in any day that you can. Listen to it in your morning walks. I then come back to the free, the giveaway that's not really a giveaway. That's like a powerful bonus tool at the end of the day. So I just immerse myself in your summit. And I'm so just excited to invite everybody to it. and I hate to have to go so soon. But is there anything else you would want folks to know about this year and that we missed?
It's hard to say it very quickly, and I know that you've got a client waiting for you, Tiffany. So this is really very special that we're squeezing this in. But no, and people can in that way that Instagram, that social media, especially of astrologers, just gets hacked. My Instagram got stolen, so my Instagram is not the most robust place to find me. But I have a private Facebook group, and it's called Soul Purpose
Let me
Astrology.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Soul Purpose Astrology on Facebook. I know not a lot of people are, not everybody's on Facebook, but it's a community. It's where I do almost daily postings. I try to put what people tell me they really like my positivity, which is not to be confused with being a Pollyanna or an ostrich. It's always about, okay, so this is happening. What do you want to do with it? There's this, there's this. It's a spectrum, right, of different ways that these mundane or personal aspects can affect us. So what do you want to do with it? And it's always encouraging, and sometimes it's kind of fun and funny, and so I always invite people, feel free. And we've got people, I don't know if we have people from 115 countries in the Facebook group like we get on the summits, but it's a very internationally diverse group, which to me, with my ruler in Sagittarius, what's more fun than that?
Yeah. I sent you did a write up on the Jupiter Pluto trine in the group, which was yesterday. And I sent it to my daughter because it was her first day of school at university. How cool is that? You get your first day of college on a Jupiter Pluto trine. I mean,
Yeah.
Anyway,
and then it's Jupiter Mercury on our second day.
Right. It's just an interesting time to be a college student. So, okay, guys. Well, Suzanne, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I always want to stay longer and come up and have a cup of tea with you and just keep the conversation going. So, I cannot wait for the summit this year, and it's starting soon. So, guys, register, and the Facebook group is also linked up. If you have questions for Suzanne, please just leave a comment and we'll circle back with you later. And other than that, Soul Centered Astrology, this is the type of astrology I want to be involved with. This is the stuff that I want to be associated with. This is the stuff that I want to learn from. This is the lineage that we are creating collectively. And so welcome if you're new, and we'll see you soon at the summit. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was great to meet your community virtually.
Yes. Yeah, they love you. Absolutely.